Hey, welcome back to the What If Universe. And for today, we have another What If YouTuber interview with Damon What Ifs. This one's been highly requested, so I'll let Damon introduce himself for people who may not know who he is.
How's it going, everybody? Damon here. Thank you for having me on here, man. I really appreciate it.
I will say a lot more people were more interested in us doing a What If collab, but I guess we're doing this first before we
This
get
is
to
good.
that. Well, I was like, I want to get to know this Damon person first, That's kind of
Yeah,
how it went.
exactly.
So, anyways, what inspired you to make What Ifs, actually?
All right, so what inspired me to make What Ifs? Back when I was little, I was always super into Dragon Ball. I was reading all this fan manga that was being put out there. Like, you remember the old Dragon Ball AF by Toy, right?
Yeah, I follow him on Twitter, actually.
Yeah, I used to read that all the time when I was little, and I invested into that, and then I saw a bunch of other Dragon Ball AF stuff on YouTube, and I was always like, "Oh my god, this stuff is so awesome!" And I was always so interested in it. And then I always started writing down my own stories for Dragon Ball, and then eventually, once Moscow started making his what ifs, I got so invested in them because I was like, "Man, everybody else likes to do these stories too," and I especially love the what if stories because they're so your own stuff that you could work on with them. And I saw when he was doing it, he was making everything his own, but still giving it that feel of Dragon Ball. And while watching him do that, I was like, man, I do be pretty inspired though. So I started working on him myself. The first project I actually ever worked on was combining all of his what if stories into one story first on my channel. And I started that, and then I got Moscow himself to respond and say, "Hey, it was pretty good." And I was like, "Oh my god, wow. Look at me getting all up there and stuff." And then after a while, I was like, "You know what? I want to start doing them myself." So then I started writing my own stories, and eventually that blew up. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got started into what ifs and stuff.
I think my only main interaction with Masako was on Twitter. I found a screen cap from one of his videos, and I thought it was like, hey, this would be funny as a channel mode. I think he turned it into one.
That's awesome.
It had that cute surprise face that he kind of does, so it's like that seemed iconic enough to put there.
That's awesome.
But as far as what ifs go, what's your guide for people who want to do collaborations? What's the best way to approach another YouTuber from your perspective?
Okay, so to approach another YouTuber, first off, I feel like if you gotta decide what level of popularity they are, pretty much. If I straight up went to Moscow right now and it's like, "Hey, you want to collab?" I know for a fact he would definitely not even answer because you gotta decide which people to go to. For me, what I did is that I asked around with a bunch of people when I first started off because I was getting nowhere.
Yeah, I remember you asked me back in the day, and I was just really busy at the time.
Yeah.
Going to do it. It's just I got too busy with other stuff.
Yeah. So I was asking a bunch of people around then. But the thing is, for me, is that when I was asking people, I didn't have anything on my channel. So I know for a fact that not you, but other people looked at my channel and were like, "I don't want to collab with you. You have nothing here." So I was like, "Oh crap, that doesn't really work out very well." So if you want to approach a Dragon Ball YouTuber, first off, you gotta have some decent enough quality Dragon Ball what ifs or any other what if in general on your channel if you have one, and then ask somebody who's not like Moscow, somebody who's a lot lower, and will have I don't want to say the popularity, but the time to actually reach back out to you and respond. Because people like us, luckily we're always on social medias all the time, so we're most likely able to check more. And since for the most part, we're kind of independent, where we don't have whole writing rooms and stuff like that all the time, where we have our own individual servers. If you reach out to us on there, we'll most likely be able to see it. But it depends on like how you are as a creator, if you know what I mean, to be able to reach out.
Do you have any advice to people who feel like quitting What Ifs and want to switch over and do something else?
Oh yeah, I've been through that rabbit hole myself already. Pretty much, it depends on what makes you the happiest, you know? Because if you write a bunch of stories and you're super happy with them, but they're not making you a lot of views, try not to get too discouraged because it just takes one what if to launch yourself into popularity. And if you really enjoy doing it, you're definitely going to have a fantastic time. Because for me, when I was starting off, I was getting like probably like not even 100 views. My first real what if video was what if Tarble stayed on Earth. That one I think reached like 90 views max, and for like a month, and I was like, oh man, this is doing numbers, even though it really wasn't. But I was still having fun with it, and even though I wasn't getting anywhere, I liked working on it. And then once I made what if Goku remembered his Saiyans, that video instantly took off, and then I got a lot of people subscribing and suddenly becoming fans of mine. And all it took was just that one certain video to launch you into it. Now, luckily for me, it didn't take too long for that to happen, but I know for plenty of other people, it'll definitely take a while. And it just depends on how you are, how how much you enjoy working on it. Like if you're writing like a bunch of scripts and posting a lot of videos and you're just doing it to do it and you're not having fun with it, then I feel like you should definitely take a step back and do something else that'll make you happy, and not just doing it like, oh, because I need to do it because I want to become popular. Because if you do that, that's never really going to work out for you. You got to be really passionate about it to do it. So if you feel like quitting, just think about it in total. Like if you want to do it, if it makes you happy, then keep pursuing it. But if it's really not, you're only doing it because you really just want to get popular, then I think maybe you should take a step back and decide like whether makes you happy with it.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking to the numbers point that you brought up earlier, do you think it's more important, like in the long run, to basically not care about views and hope that they increase over time, or is it more important to focus on views currently and adjust your content based on of how many views you're getting?
I think back when I first started, I thought 90 was like the godsend of totally whatever views I would get. But like nowadays, views definitely matter for the most part, because number one, views show how many people are interested in the video. Like if I make a video that has like, let's say 3,000 views, and it stays at 3,000, like it barely goes up, then I know that most people aren't interested in that topic anymore. But if I make a video that gets 19,000 views, then I got to decide, okay, what should I make a part 2 on? The one that got 3,000 or the one that got 19,000? And obviously, you'd go for the one that has 19,000. So for views and stuff, it really depends on how much work you can put into it to make it even better. Or something that doesn't really take you off and something that you don't enjoy working on. Like you can make a part 2 to a video that has 3,000 and try to make it better and listen to what all the critics in the comments had to say to make it better. And if you don't want to do that, then you can either just stop the series right then and work on a new one, or make a part 2 and try to make it better. Views are definitely like the biggest thing that YouTubers definitely look for. So it just really depends on how you feel about the video in question. And if you think it was good quality and you want to continue making parts, then definitely do so. But make sure it's really important for those videos to listen to the comments and try to make it better. For the other ones that get like thousands and thousands of views, and you can definitely work more at it at your own pace, since you already know that people definitely like it. But for the ones that don't make as many views, you definitely got to make sure you work on those harder, or just, not work on them anymore. It depends on how you feel about it.
That's understandable. I think with me, I do a lot of my stuff mostly because I enjoy at this point, because the thing is that I've reached a point where I help edit for Anime Sage. I think you know who he is, right?
Mhm.
So basically what happened is that over time I started editing for him a lot more recently, so it's like anything that I put out, I know it's either that I enjoy writing it at this point, or I think that the viewers care about the series enough, and that's how I basically release stuff. So it's a lot different how I used to do things. Like, I used to be like more raw, like with numbers, but the thing is, like, since I'm so limited on my time now, I can at least pick whatever I want to now, which is a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah. I definitely get you, because it really, again, it depends on like how your level of enjoyment on it. Like if you do one that you think sucks, and it's just like, well, then just don't do it anymore. Obviously. So it really just depends.
So speaking to a point of growth, do you ever feel like that you might remake some of your older videos to be more on par with what you currently do?
Oh, definitely. Especially because I haven't really been doing this for too long. I think only like a month ago, it was like my channel's 1 year like anniversary. So I haven't really been doing this for too long. But dude, in a year, I've definitely like really grown as a creator with like my editing skills, my audio skills. Because I'll tell you, when I first started out, I literally had like 0 recording equipment at all. All I had was just my cell phone, a paint bucket, and I used I put my phone on top of the paint bucket and just spoke into the phone's microphone, hoping that it would sound decent. So it sounded good enough, but not as good as like the microphone that I have now. So I know that I've definitely come a very long way from when I first started. So I would definitely remake a bunch of the ones that I have that I first started out with, especially the What If Tarble Stayed on Earth. That one I started out a year ago, still haven't finished it because, again, like we were talking about earlier, that one didn't make that many views, so I wanted to focus more on series that got a lot of views. But now, if I have a chance to make it even better, because now I have better writing styles, better recording software, and all that stuff. So I think if I work on it more, I'll definitely be able to redo a bunch of older What Ifs and try to make those to match the quality that I do now.
That's understandable.
Yeah, what about you?
For me, I'll just tell you a story. I tell it in a lot of these interviews, but I say that initially it would start me doing what ifs that I've done other channels over the years, but I wanted to change my content basically. So I pitched an idea to Plus Ultraman to do what if Deku's Green Lantern. Then during one of his live streams, he said, if you want to make what ifs, just go do them yourself. So that's what I did. That's how my channel started.
That's cool.
I believe he promoted it on a stream when I told him about it. And he was like, sure, I'll go send people to go watch that. And I think I got like 300 subscribers out of that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, it's more of a rare instance. I think that he saw that I had paid attention to his advice and listened to it. So I guess he rewarded me based off of that.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think he would do that with our people now, but at the time it was a little different.
Oh yeah, because that was when like everything was like there wasn't really that many What If channels out there.
Well, his channel wasn't as big either a couple of years ago.
Oh, that's true.
Because this is back in 2019, so he would have been around maybe 20K at the time. Maybe 10K, I don't remember exactly. I'm just more surprised over years that I ended up inspiring people somehow.
Oh yeah, I totally get that. I think about that all the time.
Like, you know who Kid Zeus is, right?
No, I do not.
Yeah. He's not I guess he's not as well known to sing, but he's like surpassed me way long time ago. But I do enjoy the fact that he was like inspired from my content along with a few other people. It's like it's interesting how it goes, I guess. And
I get that.
I've only been here like maybe 2 years longer than you have, because I started in 2019, even though I deleted some videos and remade them.
Sure.
Speaking of what if content, what do you think about people trying to change up their content, like Moscow X doing like a podcast, or when I did like rapid fire what ifs back last summer, or like different forms of what if content?
I think different forms of what ifs definitely help you as a creator, because for the most part, if you work on like one singular what if, not like series, but what if style for a long period of time, eventually you're gonna feel like kind of burnt out, I guess, and you're gonna want to try something fresh and new. And I think branching out and definitely trying different stuff is really interesting for you as a person, and it's also a great stepping stone to see what people would like to see. Like for Masako, when he did his podcast, he's getting a lot of views on that, and I feel like if he never really branched out, he wouldn't be making as many views as he does now. Because if you branch out and do a bunch of stuff like for you with the rapid fire what ifs, you can do a bunch of those and people will watch that. And then you can do your actual what if series and people will watch that as well. So if you branch out and do a bunch of different versions of like a what if or other content on your channel, that like makes more people interested in watching you, because they'll watch multiple different types of series on you, if that makes sense, where they can check in on multiple, and there we go, it's a lot of stuff. So I feel like branching out definitely helps you as like avoid burnout, and it helps with your viewers because they're interested in more than one thing that you're working on.
Yeah, speaking about rapid fire woes a bit, some people ask me from previous interviews when I might possibly do those again. The main thing with that is that it kind of relies on other people, so you have to plan these and actually coordinate them, because you can't just have people just sit around and not have something for their channel, so everyone gets to do one. So it can take like 2 hours sometimes, depending on how each recording session goes. But I will say, rapid fire webs have probably been one of the most fun forms of what ifs, because it basically puts the creator on the spot of what they can come up with within like a minute's worth of time, and then the next person has to pick up from there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So something I wanted to ask you about is, what do you think about the what if community from when you started to where you're at now?
Oh, so when I was first starting out, I didn't really see that many people doing what ifs. Like I checked in, I think there was around like 10 people doing them. Off the top of my head, I can think of when I first started out. Like the scene was big, but it wasn't that big, if you know what I'm saying. And like as to now, there's like a lot of what if creators out there that just keep going, and a lot of them don't really upload anymore. Like, so I can definitely, like, when I look at ones that I watched when I first started, a lot of them like haven't uploaded in like a year or at least like 9 months. But I feel like there's a lot of smaller like kids, you know, doing it themselves too. And I get a bunch of comments on my videos and in my Discord server and wherever other people can reach me, saying that I've inspired them to have them do their own what ifs. So I know that me coming on the scene also has a lot of people going out and doing their own thing. And it's cool to a degree, and it's also I feel bad because I know that most of the people doing it are like little kids. And I bet you've seen that too. You have a bunch of little kids saying they want to do it too. And all the power to you for working. I really appreciate you guys' dedication. But I know that when you first start off, if you're especially little and you have that young voice, most people probably aren't going to really latch on to you, for one. Like, you could have really good visuals, but it really depends on, like, narration from what I've seen. Because I know when I was, like, I don't know, 11 or 12, I started doing YouTube stuff, and my main complaint that people kept saying was, "Hey, kid, you're too young, get off of YouTube." So, and that always stuck with me. I don't know if it's just me, but I know that always stuck with me. So I know that there's a lot of like little kid, not like super little, but you know what I mean, like kid what if channels going on out there. And I appreciate all of them doing it, but it depends on how well you do it. And I think if you're like a super like in a 12 age range, you should definitely like hold off until you're a little bit older and you got that deeper voice and you're able to focus more on it and stuff like that. Because now we have like hundreds of like small what if channels out there, and most of them are good, but there are some that I know that people hate negatively on, even though they don't deserve it only because of their age. So I feel
Well,
the What If, yeah.
to give a few of them credit, I'm gonna give credit to Super Savage and Storm. Both of them were around, I believe, 14 when they started, but their voice sounded good enough, basically. So
Yeah,
it wasn't
exactly.
like super high pitched, but also wasn't super like deep and low.
Yeah.
So it's like it was passable. I think that was kind of nice to see two creators who had like really good content for where they're at, in my opinion. I feel like they both
exactly.
get better where they're at,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
do think that for where their age was and when they started, like that was really impressive to me.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like I found out that Light Show was younger than I am, and dude, listen to my voice compared to his now. like seriously, I'm just like,
that's what
wow.
I'm saying. Like I think that really helped him get on this platform well, because no one could insult him for being a kid.
Yeah, because no one knew. That's the thing, and I don't know. Because for me, it's just I hate when people like insult each other. Like I always see that stupid negativity on like a bunch of channels and stuff, only because of like their age. And that's the stuff I don't like to see in this community, because I know, dude, like, you know how toxic the Dragon Ball community is. So I hate to see that on like a kid. So it really, for me, you gotta like, I don't know how to say it. You gotta like work it out for yourself. Like if you really want to do it, see how your voice sounds and see how good your storytelling is and all that stuff, and try to work on it. And the other thing about the What If community is that there are some people who can somehow get away with like posting like a single picture throughout an entire 30-minute video, and then just narrating for like 30 minutes and working on it without.
Here's
like,
the thing, like I saw a lot of those channels.
Yeah.
And at the time when I was looking at your channels, like, all right, I see promise in this. He's not doing that, so I moved on.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like that stuff doesn't really like bother me, but it's also like, wow, how can you do that? You know? Because I don't know. Like I feel like for me, yeah,
it depends who the person is. Like with Kids, for example, he does really good stories, but he only uses a thumbnail. And he explained to me, it's like, oh, I just can't afford to get anything better. It's like, okay, that's fair enough. Like if you're trying your best, and I can't prove
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like that. It depends on how you are. Like if you're just like, hey man, I'm really sorry, I don't have to software to work on this, but I'm doing it with the best I got. I'm like, you know what? I respect you. I appreciate you going out there and doing that. But it's just the people who like stutter their workout for like a half hour, where I'm just like, you might want to tweak that just a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hear me out. Like I've had a really bad stutter in my first part of What If Launch married Goku, or what if Goku married Launch? And the funny thing was, it generated so many comments of people saying that my voice was awful, so it promoted the video more than I expected. And I was like, oh man, I have to fix this later if this many people are gonna watch my series now.
Oh yeah, I get you. Because man, I'm telling you, even to this day, every single time I record a What If, bro, I like mess up my line all the time. Like I stutter a bunch. But for me, luckily, I have the software to like edit out all of my stutters and like combine all the audio to sound decent enough. But I know for a fact that if I didn't have all that, bro, no one would be watching my videos for a fact, because I oh my god, I stutter so much. So I just know that all those other people who like stutter and want to get up there more, I feel like definitely try to get an editing software where you can edit out like some of like your like all that kind of stuff, and try to make it sound a little more cohesive so you can get yourself out there more.
I don't know. It really depends, because with Amisage, for example, he told me specifically not to edit out his breaths, and I think it's because it makes it feel a bit more human, because if you do edit too much, you sound really robotic, actually.
Oh yeah, I totally get that too. Not like edit out like, sorry, I misworded that. Edit out like every single breath you take, but if you're like, have like a minute break of you just not saying anything.
Yeah, if he does like a really long one, then I do it. But if it's like a few seconds, like 2 seconds or like half second, that's fine.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know I've seen, I don't really watch too many like other What If channels anymore, but I know like when I first started, I watched a bunch. I know there's some people who'd be like, okay, Okay, that's the stuff I'm like, you can edit that out.
But I think a lot of time people, they're like freestyling, so I guess this could
Yep.
bring up an interesting question. Do you think it's more important to script something or make sure if you're just doing a foul script, just know the content well enough?
Okay, so for that, it depends on like what you're working on. Like for you, for like the rapid fire ones, you don't need.
Yeah, those don't need
because those
scripts,
are like
honestly.
those are like right off the top of your head.
It's
But for,
literally like a game show. That's what the
yeah,
setup is.
seriously, yeah. So it's like for those, definitely not. Nah, just do it off the top of your head. But if you're like writing like a very like, well, trying to do like a cohesive story, like I'm trying to let me think. If you're doing like, oh, what if Goku was born with God Ki, and you're just making it up as you go along, that's fine enough. But if you're like just talking and making it up as you go along, for the most part, you're always not gonna really remember what you said at first. For the most part, if you know what I'm saying. So I feel like if you want to like make like a whole like series, like multi parts and stuff, you definitely got to have a script written down to make it sound like you know what you're talking about. You're confident in your narration, and you're not just being like, so, this happened, and stuff like that, you know.
So I have something interesting to ask. What if YouTuber does your comment section compare you to the most, basically?
Salad saying. And that's not a bad thing, trust me. But
No,
I don't know
it's
if
fine.
you,
I'm just asking. He follows me on Twitter. I don't care about
yeah,
that. It's like
yeah,
I'm
he
more
follows me
curious.
on
Like
Twitter too.
I'm just
Um,
curious. Like why you think that might be the case, though?
yeah, so I don't know if you saw this, but a couple months ago, there's this whole thing going on of people saying that I was copying Salad Sane and Salad Sane was copying me, and that whole thing was going on, and I was just getting really sick and tired of it, and I made like a announcement being like, okay guys, everything going on right now saying that we keep copying each other, please stop commenting that, because I'm getting really sick and tired of it. And then Salad Sane himself reached out to me and was like, hey, are you saying that I'm copying you? And I was like, no, oh crap. So it was like this whole thing going on where I had to like tell the comments like, hey guys, I need you to really stop going in that route because now he thinks that I'm saying that he's copying me. And I was like, no, that's not good. So I had to like work out saying people like, hey, I need you guys to stop saying that. Because I don't have a problem when people compare what if YouTubers. Like, I don't have an issue at all because obviously that's going to happen. But I just hate when people are always like, hey, he's copying you. Hey, you're copying him. That stuff I really am not a fan of.
Yeah, I know. With my what if my version was same Train Deku, a lot of people compared me and said I was copying plus Ultraman, even though I specifically said that
Yep.
as someone who helped him on his series, I didn't agree where he took the story, so I made my own, basically.
Yeah, I totally get you, man. Because a couple months ago, there's a couple that I did. I did like what if Chi-Chi became a Saiyan, and then Salad Saiyan did it, and literally my entire comment section was filled with people like comparing the two and saying which one was better. And I mean, you can do that, I guess. But I was also like, okay, guys, can you just like watch the video and not just watch it to compare it? You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, there was a lot of people like either hating on mine or hating on his. And I was like, guys, I would appreciate if you weren't comparing the two and not claiming people of copying each other. Because that was the big thing that really got me. And the same thing for when I was doing what if Goku and Broly landed on Earth. In the beginning of that video, I said, okay, guys, this is my own version of the story. I know that Karthu and Goku T23 did their own. This is my own thing. I'm not taking anything from them. And I got like a bunch of comments saying I was copying. And I was like, well, what can you do?
I will say there's only one time there was direct plagiarism from my series, but I call it more towards coincidence because at the time I was helping them.
Yeah.
with other series, so I assume what could have happened is that me and the writer who were talking together, he picked up on some things I said and probably just put it in the back of their head and just wrote it later, which is fine.
Yeah, because I don't have
It
a
only
problem with
happened
people
again.
taking. Oh yeah, I don't have a problem with people taking like ideas from other people, but it's just when people take it to that degree where it's like, oh, they had this idea that was similar to this one, so that must mean that they're copying.
Well,
That's
the
stuff I'm
other
like
big
really
thing is that certain what ifs they'll always have the same setup, so you have to go through certain beats regardless. You can't
Yeah,
really go around them.
exactly. Like for everything where like Raditz comes to Earth and then he dies. Like there's so much of that out there, and everyone's like, oh, that's really similar to this. I'm like, yeah, it is, but unfortunately, it's always most likely going to end in that outcome of this happened. So,
I do know one thing that kind of gets me sometimes is that there's times where I include canonical stuff to lead up to the what if scenario happening. And people are like, oh, go skip to this point. It's where the what if actually happens. Like, I'm literally setting up the what if for the first like few minutes. Like, it's literally like 2 minutes. Do you not have time to just like listen to it?
Seriously though, there's so many
and
people.
This is like a
there.
part 1. This is not like a part 2 where you can like skip like the recap. This is like the first part of the series where I set up the character.
Yeah, because I remember for mine, I did what if the Brolys are twins, and I was getting a bunch of comments being like, hey, how come the Brolys aren't together? Why aren't they working together? They're supposed to be brothers. Why aren't they working together? And I was like, guys, literally chill out. It happens at the end of the video. You just gotta watch. Come on.
Yeah, I think with viewers mostly, I see sometimes they don't understand nuance when you kind of have to like watch the beginning part to understand where the creator wants to set something up, in my opinion. Because sure, you can technically jump to the point where it happens, but some people might get confused. It's like, what happened beforehand?
Yep. It's like, what happened to this person? Oh, well, if you watch the beginning.
Well, I'm saying, like, if I were to do that particular scenario, it's like, what you're missing is, like, what led to the choice of that person, like, getting something, you know?
Yeah, I got you.
Like, have you seen Attack on Titan?
No, I have not.
Alright, I'm not gonna spoil anything then. But I'll say cool. It's one of my videos on my channel where basically someone gets a power, but the thing is there has to be a reason to explain why they get that.
Yeah.
So that's basically summing up without spoiling it.
Yep.
What do you think is like the biggest problem we deal with in the what if community right now? To me right now, I think these 18 plus what ifs are very scary. I think there could be heavy demonetization against all channels potentially if YouTube picks up on this.
Yep. Because the one big problem with the 18 plus stuff is that YouTube's extremely strict lately.
Well, the other thing is a lot of these are kids doing it, and that is very disturbing.
That's the problem. That's the problem. If you make 18 plus content, the whole thing with that is, number one, there's a lot of bad stuff that can happen there potentially, especially for like, since Dragon Ball is mostly targeted towards kids and young adults. If kids see that, number one, it's not going to end really well. And if it's a kid itself doing it, that could fall under like the COPPA law. You know what I mean? Where it's like, uh-oh, kids aren't supposed to be in this video, and then it can lead to like, oh, if this is an issue, then might be an issue for all the other what if for other Dragon Ball creators. In YouTube's mind, that's what they're gonna think, so they're gonna go after us, and that's a big issue. For me personally, though, the biggest issue now, you've definitely seen what happened, was like all the Toei scamination stuff. That was what.
Would you like to explain that scenario to my audience? Because that's kind of why I brought you on for this episode in particular, to talk about that scenario.
Yeah, I can talk about that. So, basically, what happened is allegedly there was this fake Toei account going around purging a bunch of Dragon Ball What If channels. And
clarify, there was two, actually. They seem to be independent of each other. Yeah,
there was this one that was Toei UK, and there was copyright notice 2, the ones that we've picked up on so far. And both of them were going after Dragon Ball channels, not specifically What If channels, but like Dragon Ball channels in general. And they could go after you and delete every single one of your videos and say, oh, this is copywritten to us. And the issue with that is that it's not. It was fair use. Everything that we were doing fell under the fair use guidelines. We didn't upload like whole videos of Dragon Ball. We did our own thing that fell under the law. And the problem is that the account didn't really care. And YouTube at the moment didn't really care. Where they were like, oh, we got this notice, so that automatically means that, yeah, you're guilty, bye, your channel gets deleted in 7 days. And the main issue is that this was happening to a bunch of people in a very short period of time. Unfortunately, Salagen got his channel terminated because of this. And that...
What's worse is, in my opinion, after that happened, he told me straight up, I'm not going to come back to YouTube anymore.
Yep, he told us that too.
That includes collabs too.
Yeah.
Like, he won't show up.
Yeah, that's what he was saying in the server that we had on Twitter too. Not server, the group chat. But all that, it was like, man, this is really affecting people extremely heavily. And I've seen a bunch of other Dragon Ball YouTubers in my server being like, I want to start working on What Ifs, but now I'm scared to, because I don't want to get everything taken away from me. And I was like, you know what, man? I completely feel your pain. And I hate how you have to be scared now to work on it. Like, right now, I'm scared to upload more Dragon Ball stuff. Because everything that I had to do to get my channel back, that took days and weeks and trying to like focus all of my energy on this to try to not get my channel and everything I worked on deleted. And I just hate how there's really nothing we can do, because all of us, like me, Saiyan Scholar, a bunch of other people, like directly contacted YouTube and were telling them like, hey, this is false. Everything we do falls under fair use, and you still deleted us. What the heck? And they're like, oh, well, I don't know. Sorry. It's just like, really, YouTube? Come on. And that's the thing where it's, especially in this time of right now, where in like, I think in 2 days, we get a new announcement from the Dragon Ball Super movie. And what I'm worried about that is that since Dragon Ball is going to be such like a hype train again for people, there's going to be more alleged fake Toei accounts going out and trying to purge the YouTube community just because Dragon Ball is popular at the moment. And
you also have a high output rate you would have to do because it's a new movie. You have to predict what you think might happen in a movie. You get to talk about whatever little knowledge we have technically about it.
Yep. And if we talk about it, who knows if we're going to get struck down with anything just for mentioning Dragon Ball as a name. And that's the big thing where I think it's like the biggest issue at the moment, only because it's happened to so many people. And even if it never happened to me, I would still think that it's a huge issue, because I'm seeing so many people being like, yeah, man, I'm scared this is going to happen to me. And just hearing them say that hurts me, because I'm like, man, this is really silencing a lot of talented creators out there who want to work on Dragon Ball stuff. And it will definitely have people enjoy them. But no, this whole thing is making them not enjoy their content. And it hurts, because I'm like, man, I really want to see what you guys have to do too. But you can't, because if you do, then your channel might get deleted. And again, people like Salagen feel so bad. He was a very talented Dragon Ball creator. His stuff's gone. He's never getting it back. And it's just, man, why is this happening? And that's the whole thing that ticks me off.
Well, the thing was with Salagen in particular, since I know he's not going to come back to YouTube, so I'm just going to say this on his behalf. He literally reached such a down point where he doesn't even want to do like collabs with people anymore. Like, he won't mind talking with people, but things like he just really despises like how he was treated basically throughout the whole thing. I can kind of understand. Like kind of over it now because he's enjoying life, but as far as YouTube itself, doesn't like it.
Yeah, because at the moment, you're especially at your lowest point. I completely get it. Because when we were doing it, like, I remember at, like, the peak of when everybody was being taken down and we were starting the whole, like, Toei Scamination hashtag, I know that, like, most of us were like, man, this sucks. We're probably never going to get everything back. And it was just at that point where everybody's in such like misery, because you saw like all of us were talking and all of us like, man, what can we do now? And it was just like we were running out of ideas, and we're like, man, we really don't deserve this, but this is happening to us. And just having all that like big everybody being depressed at once is just like, wow, why does this have to happen? So that, yeah, I feel like the whole like fake Toei accounts is the biggest like downfall for the Dragon Ball What If community, or Dragon Ball community as a whole at the moment.
Well, what I respect is that Geekdom, he did show up to YouTube's headquarters for that. Like, he was willing to do that since he knows so many people being affected.
Yep.
I think that did help with a lot of people, but I do know at least, besides Salage, I think a couple other channels were purged, but they were like AMV channels, so it's like, it's iffy.
That's how I feel about that, because for the AMV channels, I know there's a lot of people saying like, oh, I don't deserve this. So I'm like, yeah, you don't, but you also uploaded like, you know, the whole show.
Well, it's not like they upload the whole show, it's the fact that they probably didn't own the music that they're playing in the background anyways, so it's really hard for YouTube to justify and put your content back up.
That's the thing. It's just people like who like just write a fan story and like have non-licensed music in the background, everything get taken out for copyright, even though it's not a thing. It's just like, yeah, why is that getting taken down? YouTube.
I will say what's interesting is that the main two people who got their stuff fixed was me and Library of Ohar for some reason, because Library of Ohar, he dealt with this a few months ago.
Yeah.
And I was following his story earlier, so I knew what I had to tell YouTube immediately to make sure my channel would be fine. And I was okay, because I basically knew what was about to happen to an extent.
Yep.
I just didn't think it was going to happen on me, though.
Yeah.
I think the one that got hit was my Team 4-star theory, where the announcer guy thought he could have been Nappa if the series continued. Oh. I think, because I actually used Team 4-star's footage for a few bits.
Oh, gotcha.
I think that's why it got claimed, and I think another video. So even if they both went down, I still would have been fine. I would have had like one remaining, but I just want to get them off just in case.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if they were gonna hit me again.
Yeah.
The weird thing is that they're not trying to claim monetization. That's what makes these two characters interesting. They're trying to take down the channels themselves.
Yeah, that's the problem. Because for me, because you know when I got hit, I got literally all of my Dragon Ball stuff taken down.
Yeah, you showed it on Twitter, and all your stuff was like blank, basically.
Yep, everything was gone. Like I still had my Marvel videos up because they can't claim those because Toei does not own Marvel. I still had my Final Fantasy reviews up, but everything Dragon Ball, even a Q&A that I did, which was literally just my face talking to a camera, got claimed for Dragon Ball stuff, even though there's literally nothing Dragon Ball related about it except me talking about it. That got taken down, and that was ridiculous. But anyway, everything that got taken down, they were only trying to get strikes and not going after like monetary stuff. Because for me, if I regularly get a video hit, it's just a copyright claim where it's like, oh, you can upload this, but you're not going to make any money. But for this, when I got everything taken down, every single video got a copyright strike. And I think it's 4. If you get 4 or 3 copyright strikes,
it's 3.
Channel 3. Yeah, if you get 3 copyright strikes, channel gone. Luckily for me, YouTube gave me like a week saying like, oh, we'll give you a week to see if this is legit and stuff. But I got so many, I think I got like over 100 something copyright strikes because every single video was claimed as a strike. And again, it was just like, okay, they're only claiming to own the video. They're not, and only to delete my channel. They're not trying to go after just taking money away. They're trying to take my whole existence away. And that was really weird.
Well, what's kind of sad is that when I was out at KamehaCon, someone said, like, oh, I want to see Dragon Ball GT Abridged, because they had one of their friends want to check it out. What happened was, well, I was out with Kamea-con with SSB Ace. Apparently, someone took down 2 of the videos. So, without Super Saiyan Science, who has access to the channel, I don't know if we'll get those episodes back on YouTube at least. So, it's kind of in a rocky spot because I don't know what he's up to. He's doing like college stuff, so he's busy all the time. So, I'm gonna have to see how that goes, but I do think this Toei thing might be trying to take down that channel. It's really hard to tell, though, because the channel's still up right now, and I can't see the back end of things.
Yeah. Who knows? They're going after a bunch of people. Luckily, they've been kind of, like, in the quiet for a little bit. Like, I've... even today, I just uploaded, like, my second Dragon Ball video, and as of right now, it's still up. So... I'm hoping that it's gone for the most part. And even Saiyan Scholar, he's been uploading Dragon Ball videos for the past couple of weeks, and he's been fine. So I'm really hoping that for the most part they're like gone for now.
The only one we have to worry about is the copyright notice one, because Toei themselves, Toei themselves released a statement saying Toei UK is not real.
Yep. And again, I personally. Again, I don't want to, like, no legal trouble, but I personally don't believe the copyright notice 2 is official Toei. Because of the statement that YouTube sent me, saying what the person said to take down all my stuff. The statement itself was extremely unprofessional. So I was like, I don't really believe this as being something official. And all the evidence that we have against it, I personally don't think it's real, but we still just need to wait for Toei to make an official statement about it. I really hope it's not, because if it is real Toei, I think that's kind of scummy. So,
well, the issue is that copyright law works different in Japan, so they try to get around this. Not to say what they're doing is legal, obviously, but I'm saying that's why I think they're trying to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think, like, in their country, they won't be charged for it, technically.
Yeah. I just hope that it's not legit. Because if it isn't, I'll just be like, wow. There goes, like, half the Dragon Ball community.
Well, Geekdom, I believe, back in 2019 or something, there was a tweet where he talked about Copyright Notice 3, so I think that this is fake, and they just made another account.
Definitely. Because if you look at both the emails, they look very similar, except for the 2 is replaced with a 3. So it's just like, yeah, they definitely just striking again. And again, who knows if this is going to come back in, like, a couple years or a couple months. Like, this could be a yearly occurrence. Who knows? I just wish that YouTube would find a way to deal with it in a more, how do I say it? In a more reasonable way. Because when I eventually got all my stuff back, thankfully, by reaching out to somebody in the YouTube service, and the person who helped me even said, like, oh, the person who filed all these didn't fill out everything that they needed to, so we're going to restore all your videos. And I was like, thank you for that, but if you noticed that they didn't fill out all the stuff to be able to take down everything, then why don't you take it down?
I believe what I did what Odahar did, I believe. We both submitted that they didn't have all the information, and I think that forced YouTube to look to make sure, and that's what restored our stuff.
Yep, and I appreciate that, but I'm just like, I wish you guys would have checked first and noticed that right away, you know?
I think the issue is that I brought it up to Team YouTube themselves in a discussion at some point. I can't disclose too much about it, but basically what I brought up was that, can we have a system like whoever's striking us, that the company has to send us a staff badge or something to verify that they are part of the company? Yeah, it's like, that seems viable.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Because I said, at least we have a way to contact at the company who did it, at least.
Exactly.
To negotiate
that we can actually, that we can talk to them and not just be like, okay, hey, and then have them not say anything at all. So that would work really well.
Because with the current system, you can just be a company and hit someone without giving any form of contact that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Warner Brothers could strike down, like, a Batman What If, for example, because I have one.
Yeah.
And they could be like, this infringes on what you're doing. We're taking down your content, and like here's our email, and here's this other stuff. The thing is that if you can't contact anybody because of how corporate laddering works, it doesn't work out too well. But I would be okay with if I have to like contact our copyright support department and just work it out. Even if I'm in the wrong, at least I can talk to a real person on their end.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Because for all the stuff that I got taken down, all it said was, "Hey, you have copyrighted stuff in here." And I was like, "Okay, but what do I have copyrighted?" Like, if you would at least tell me what I have wrong, I can try to fix it. But if they don't even tell me what's wrong, it's like, I don't even know what to do. Like, if I'm in the wrong, I'll admit that I'm in the wrong, but...
They do highlight the clip, but my issue is more of contacting, like, a real person, have them watch the video. There's several times where people claim stuff, they don't actually watch the video and understand that it's not official, and it's disclosed as such.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because for most of the stuff that I do, like, if I have something that's copyrighted, they'll tell me. But the thing is, when everything got taken down, they didn't tell me what I had was wrong. All they said is, you have copyrighted stuff. Because for the most part, like, YouTube will be like, oh, this music piece. But for when everything got taken down for me, they didn't even tell me what was wrong. They was like, oh, you have copyrighted stuff. So that's what ticked me off, because they didn't tell me what I did wrong. So it's like, come on, man. So I just wish there was a way to talk to somebody like you're saying. Like, that would help.
For sure. So I'm curious about your opinion on this. What do you think is going to be like the future of what ifs? Do you think any more innovation is going to happen, or you think we're reaching a peaking point? Because I kind of feel like it's really hard to tell if all these kids that outnumber like real people that are doing what ifs.
It really depends. I think that we're kind of reaching a breaking point right now where it's like everything's just gonna feel very similar and the same.
I kind of agree, because
until Dragon Ball comes back.
I kind of agree in that aspect, because Dragon Ball has more of an established fan base, but I was more talking about like in general, not Dragon Ball. You know what I mean?
Like what ifs in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for what ifs in general, I feel like everybody has their own takes and stuff. And I just really hope that everybody who's making just actual quality what ifs, they get their stuff out there more and are able to keep somebody going and stuff. And it all, for that person doing a what if, it depends on like how long the series is, obviously, and how long they're able to keep interest. Because I know that there's going to be a lot of the kids who are just going to stop doing it after like a couple months after realizing that it's too hard. Trust me, that's not a diss against anybody, but I know that's just how it works. So I know that there's going to be a lot of kids who are going to leave the community for actual like working on it at least. And then that'll give more of a precedent to the people who like are the higher up people who work really hard on the what ifs. And it all just depends on like how long the series is, how long they can keep an interest on it. And I feel like that'll definitely work out. Because if they like bringing it back to Dragon Ball again, like if you keep, there's that ending point of Dragon Ball where it's like you can't go anywhere past this, so there's not really a big way to innovate it and give something new, because there's really nothing new. Like luckily now the manga is still going, so we have something to hold on to, but for the most part we just got to work with what we got, and we don't got a lot. For
I feel
people
like that's a bit iffy to your point there, because I've seen people like Smugstick and Geeks for Fun basically put Goku in a different universe, and they managed to extend its lifespan more than
that's the stuff
what most people are currently doing right now.
Exactly, like that's the stuff where I feel like is how you innovate. Because if you focus purely on this one series at the moment and just try to focus on it, it's really not gonna. I mean, how do I say it?
Because I genuinely think if we, like, if Dragon Ball YouTubers continue keeping in that universe, we're gonna run out of content until people. That's
what I'm leading to. That's what I'm leading to. Yeah, you said it perfectly. Like, if you keep focusing on it, obviously, we're gonna stagnate and we're gonna be hit like a rock. We're just gonna smack, and we're not gonna be able to go any higher up until Dragon Ball actually continues in like a animated form and get a lot of fans. For innovating it and stuff like that, I think Dragon Ball DC is a fantastic series. I love the way that they're going on. Geeks for Fun's going on about that. Even when Smug Stick was doing the Superman in Dragon Ball, that was really cool. I feel like having a bunch of different like crossover what ifs would be a fantastic way to like completely innovate the scene. Like if somebody did like, oh yeah, what if DC and Marvel in one universe? Like what if Goku was here? What if Deku was interested? Stuff like that, you know? Like I feel like that's how you can innovate the series. It just all depends on the writer and how much they know about those two series, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I guess something that I would want to close things off here for people is like, what advice would you give to people that are either starting out new in the What If community or people who want to like improve?
Okay, so for people who just want to start off, real quick, don't overwork yourself right away. Don't give like your best Dragon Ball or any other what if idea out there and just work extremely like overwork yourself is what I mean. Like don't try to be the best right away. Just try to have fun with it. See if it's something that you're really gonna enjoy working on and keep working on it. And if it gets up there, fantastic for you, keep going. If it stagnates, you don't really go anywhere, try to see what you can do to improve. Look to other what if creators, see what they do. Don't do what they do, but try to be better. Like if you don't like an idea that they did, see if you can work it on yourself and see if you can make it how you'd want it. Because there's definitely going to be a lot of people who see it how you see it and are going to be interested in your story. So try to branch off into different paths where you make it more interesting to how you see fit. And if there's a bunch of people going in there and liking how you do it, keep in that direction. And if you keep in those directions and get a bunch more voices in the community, then you're going to grow. That's kind of how it was for me, at least. So that's what I think.
I think for me, when I was doing my own version of What If Stain Train Deku, it wasn't that I necessarily disliked Plus Ultraman's version, because I did help him on two of those parts.
Yeah.
But the main thing behind that was basically what I saw is that where he took the story narratively, it's like I felt like I could change the narrative of the story, but keep like the initial starting point, because that's where I liked it to an extent.
Yeah.
Because hear me out, it's like I don't know. Do you follow MHA at all? I don't know if you do.
Do I follow who?
My Hero Academia. Do you follow?
I don't. No.
Okay, I'm not gonna go too deep in there. Basically, it was more of like a character conflict issue I had, because I felt like the character seemed way too motivated in his version.
Yeah.
Because at the point he was at. So it's like that's the main thing with that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's completely okay to want to work on something else and make it your own version. Because like I'm saying, like you're definitely always going to get those people who are being like, oh my god, you're copying this person. This person did this idea first. Or it's like, you know what? Don't listen to that. Like if you like take What If Raditz Turned Good and make it exactly like how Moscow did, then yeah, you're copying. Obviously. But if you can do your own version of What If Raditz Turned Good and make it your own, then go ahead and go for it. It doesn't matter. Like as long as you like make it unique to yourself, and if you like it, then yeah, go ahead and work on it. Give us all your take. Like it doesn't matter how many takes of one series there are. If you want to do it and if you're happy with it, then go ahead and do it. So I see it, at least.